Welcome back. Thanks very much for joining us here on the deck. I'm here with my good friend Dr. Michael Ryan, better known as Dr. Plonk.
Good evening.
Well,
or afternoon, late afternoon.
Late afternoon. It's a beautiful winter's afternoon here on the deck, and it's just dropped to maybe 22 degrees, I think, Doc.
We are both in shorts.
Yes.
And I'm not cold.
No, not at all.
Having said that, the vertical tasting of those 6 Rieslings has warmed me a little.
Yes, we've got our glow up, I think.
I think so.
So, love to do another quick vertical. It's not a massive one because we've only got 2 vintages. Pinot Noir in Eden Valley. Said it couldn't be done. My father-in-law, Trevor Hart, said, I'm going to do it because I like drinking Pinot Noir, and if no one buys it, I'll drink it all myself.
That's a fair comment.
And he probably could.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. He has the skills.
So 2016 was our first vintage. We've planted most of this vine way up the very top of the property at the highest elevated level, 485 metres above sea level. We do give it a lot of good fresh water and dam water. So Pinot Noir is that mother-in-law wine where it whinges a lot and carries on, but it's lovely, and it's a beautiful expression of loveliness once it's made.
Mother-in-law wine, my friend, you are skating on thin ice.
I think I am, but I think my mother-in-law understands what I mean.
Yeah, and I think one of the great things about the fact is you've chosen the right clones. I mean, Pinot Noir in itself is such a bastard of a grape. It goes through many genetic variations. I think there must be nearly up to 100 clones that you can use. And
correct.
There's 4 to 8 probably major clones that are the most commercial, but you can to the testament of viticulture and genetics, they can certainly pick clones that suit better terroir.
Correct, and that's where Trevor really went to. Sean Koleski still makes the Pinot Noir for us to this day, and with the guidance of Sean, Trevor's favourite Pinot Noir comes from a region in New Zealand, and the clones they use, we've actually mimicked 4 of the 5 clones that they actually use in that Pinot Noir. So
this is not going to be another Lamington Pavlova across the ditch incident. Who did what? We cheated from them.
It quite could be.
Go on.
Well, we're going to give the 216 a try. Now, have you had a try this 216 before, Doc?
We did briefly on one previous tasting, but due to time constraints, we probably didn't give it its full arc.
No.
Tell me about the vintage at 16. Do you remember that one?
Again, very big yields. Just a standard vintage, really. It wasn't overly hot going into vintage at all. Decent rain. We weren't in drought, so the vines weren't stressed at all. So I think being our first vintage, I think we'll find that there's a lot more weight and a lot more heaviness. I honestly believe, I quote this one as the Shiraz drinker's Pinot.
Yeah, I mean, lovely colour straight up. You can tell it's a Pinot Noir almost by the colour. It's looks lovely in these beautiful burgundy glasses. And what a magnificent nose.
Yeah. And so those strawberries are coming out of the glass.
There's into the mushroom notes, and then there's a bit of bramble. It's really got lovely nuances.
It has definitely changed since I tried this wine last. Like, we're talking 4 years old now, and it gets minimal oak. It gets probably about 8 to 10 months in brand new French oak.
Yes.
So there's not. You don't want to over oak your Pinot Noir. You want the expression of fruit to come out more so than oak dominating.
I think that you're saying about the fruit being up forward, and it is quite forward, but it's starting to mellow. It's getting that beautiful melded feel. But there's a beautiful spice behind in the palate itself that then links into the tannic structure of the wine. It's not a massively structured Pinot, but my gosh, it's certainly got a whole flowing form that is so pleasing on the palate.
Without a doubt. Now, we've specifically done this Pinot tasting because, Doc, you want to talk about how well sashimi and seafood does match Pinot
Well,
Noir.
certainly the Pinot Noir, I think, matches sashimi like crazy. I think, in particular, Petuna ocean trout from our friends at Rockliff Seafoods in Malilba, which you can get these online and on their Facebook site.
Amazing little platters.
Oh, amazing. And I think once you start putting it into some soy sauce and just break it down with a little bit of sake, it melds into the structure and complexities of the Pinot Noir. And I just dip this in and bang it down, and just a little sniff so that let your brain know what you're taking.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
And then, man, you should try that.
Yeah.
Have a go,
all
man.
right, I'll give it a go.
Mm.
Look forward to that.
Didn't have to ask him twice, did I?
No, not at all.
He's straight away. He's into the tuna, the meat eater's fish, isn't it? Really. And I love the way he swirls. He's got a great swirling action, haven't you?
I have. It's taken
Many years of practice.
Years of practice.
I'd say between us, we must have 50 plus years of wine drinking. Wine tasting expertise. How's that go, my friend?
Outstanding.
It does. You wouldn't think of it.
No,
you wouldn't.
Honestly, you've made me a convert. I did not think we'd be Pinot Noir. Traditionally, you're thinking of duck and rabbit, venison. You actually put me onto Doc one time at Walker's Butcher Shop.
Yes.
Duck and venison sausage.
Yes.
Balsamic glaze and Pinot Noir. I'll never forget that. And this is what wine and wine tasting and food matching is all about. Getting some experience with someone that can tell you to try this and that. You may like it, you may not, but the whole idea is try the experience, go through the process. So let's have a crack at the 217. Now, this is where we're getting into real Pinot Noir territory. Now, we really think that this is starting to express what the vineyard's capable of, and I think people who are more along those Pinophile sort of understanding the true Pinot Noir drinkers, they are basically saying that the 16 was a very good introduction of Pinot Noir, expression of our vineyard, but the 17 was definitely more along the lines of what a true Pinot Noir should be tasting like.
Again, beautiful colour, light garnet colour, clarity. And the complexity, like that is a beautiful wine in its own right, with a very strong bouquet of upfront fruit. But now you're getting layers. You're getting layers of nuances. So you've got secondary spice, brambly natures, a little bit of oak influence.
There's a massive difference in there.
And then you've got the beautiful strawberries and into the darker fruit.
Well, I'm getting a lot of mulberries. Really, real dark mulberries. And of course, you're going to get those notes because we still are in Australia, and we call ourselves Eden Valley. We call ourselves a cool climate region, but in true retrospect, we're still middle of South Australia, and we're still in hot weather. So to be able to produce a Pinot Noir of this quality and this standard, I'm just astounded.
I think hats off to the Brockenchack team. So, as you said, www.brockenchack. I think the wine really does speak for itself, and I think you really need to try one of these. So, cheers again.
Thank you.
Cheers.